are building isn't very well suited to penetrating that. In this case, it's pretty good that we've got a bunch of Ultralisks that followed up. That's, it's a nice mix and difference in units. Triple Thor now. We are taking them down, but not before they blow us all up. So, am I reacting to this? Yeah, I have started to build some Greater Spires. Ooh, and looks like me or my ally, someone just used one of the ultimate abilities. I won't really spend too much attention with them, but if you save up 4,500 minerals, you get an ultimate ability that does enable you to do a crap ton of damage. The Ultras come in here. Ah, nice. The motherships are very, very good in this game. You can have up to 2 per team, and this looks like it's going to enable us to push through this silo very effectively. So the silo, not only does it give us 1,000 minerals, but it freezes our opponent's income for 30 seconds. And yeah, our ally, he didn't realize that you only get to use this special once per game. And this is a bit premature to use it, but getting down this silo is actually is nice, because they're going to lose 30 seconds worth of income. That's quite a lot, so it's a big income shift. Of course, that will just turn around. Generally speaking, both silos do get lost at one point in the game, unless it's totally one-sided. Looks like my Broodlords have arrived. And when you pop the silo, you get this big, badass, super Ultralist that comes out. And depending on when it happens in the game, if it happens very early on, I actually don't mind too much losing the silo very early on, because if you don't have all 3 of your gas up, losing 30 seconds of gas income is not as critical. Once you've got all 3 up, it actually hurts. And then that Ultralisk is able to defend you for a good long time, whereas later on the Ultralisk doesn't really make a big difference at all. So your push doesn't really get slowed by having to fight him. So now it looks like my Broodlords are showing up kind of undefended. What I generally do is I ask the person after me in queue, because my Broodlords are so slow, they will join the battle at pretty much the same time as the next person. In fact, the Broodlords just went down now, and we're down to Pansy's units here, the others are. So I will generally ask this guy to build some anti-air units, like Phoenixes, or especially if he's human. That's my favorite combo. If the guy after me is human, build Vikings, because Vikings are so strong. Phoenixes are pretty good too. And so you build those, because then it'll counter the other anti-air. That'll stop them from killing the Broodlords, because the Broodlords can't defend themselves. But the Broodlords will kill everything on the ground. So as long as you protect them, put up an air shield in front of them. Frankly, it doesn't even have to be anti-air, just other air units to tank things for a little while. The Broodlords are going to do a lot more damage. See, they're taking apart these Thors, building a High Templar very good in this setting as well, because they will do a ton of damage to the enemy team because things get so pumped up. So now we got Stealth, Ultralisks, and Broodlords, and the other team is in big, big hunk of trouble. But they're not doomed yet, because every person on the team has a nuclear explosion available to themselves, just like in many of the other games of this type. That they can detonate whenever they want, but it only explodes things on one side of the map. Now at this point, the red player has left the game. But that's okay. You'd think that would be terrible and that would be a GG, but it's not. This game has been designed to balance that out fine. First, it blows up all his buildings, gets rid of all that. Any money he had banked will be split between his allies, and that's it. And what happens is, every 45 seconds, you still get a spawn. It just so happens it's going to be alternating between these 2 guys instead of the 3 of them. All in all, the amount of units produced is exactly the same as before. In fact, it can be 3 versus 1, and it's still perfectly fair. This guy doesn't even need. You don't even need extra income at all, because you're still fighting. It's just one wave against another wave, and in each case, the wave is being funded by exactly the same amount of money. In fact, I quite like a 3v1 scenario when I'm the one player, because it means I can perfectly coordinate my waves to work together and really coordinate, whereas, in a sort of a random public match, sometimes things are not coordinated. Oh, here's my Broodlords coming in again. We got Archons tanking the ground, we got Void Rays hitting also the ground, but, potentially taking a little bit of air cover. And we're going to be pushing very, very well here. But there's still a lot left to the game. And that's what I'm saying, red left, but there's still 30 minutes left to the game. We are going at quad speed, so it's not going to take that long at all. And we're even pushing into their base. But, oh, looks like they just used a boom. So they've just killed all our troops on one side of the map. And it is going to enable them to push back pretty hard. we'll see how it goes. I'm actually quite happy personally that the person who left was the, am I wrong, the only Terran? Yeah, just, oh no, there's Terran here, but I don't think he's got any Thors going on. Looks like he's got battle cruisers. I think that's what the fusion cores build. Oops. And, yeah. So, oh, what's the other thing I forgot to mention? The area you start in, this rectangle, starts off split down the middle. Right down here, there's a barrier of rocks. But after the 41st wave spawns, those rocks get blown up. They go away, and you open up the second side of your base. And it also opens up more gas geysers, so you may want to claim those as well. And you can see I claim 2, and my strategy, I always end up claiming 2. But the first geyser is 30 seconds, second is 60, then 90. This is 120 seconds, and this one's 150 seconds. So this represents a considerable amount of income downtime. Yeah, they generate lots of money, but that's a lot of time without any money. So I don't like getting the third because it seems like too much downtime to me personally. Here I've built a couple more hatcheries, upgraded in the hive, because I wanted more stealth detectors. They have a lot of wraiths, a lot of banshees. We've got the motherships, so I wanted more stealth detection up. So that's my effort there. Plus, you know, some Zerglings actually don't do too bad in this scenario. Depending on what the other team is building, a lot of times the Zerglings do very, very well. So that's something to keep in mind. A little bit of confusion about the motherships. You only get 2 motherships per side. So, I guess it's this guy, yeah, the only Protoss doi. Motherships build out of these baby Nexi, and you can only build 2 of them. Per side, period. And we were a little confused because it looked like they had 3 of them, but the reason is they had 1 survive from a previous wave. So that's why it just seemed like there were more of them. But only 2 spawn per wave. Excuse me. So yeah, we're getting frustrated by the amount of stealth. It was being very difficult. That's why I built the extra stealth stuff. Of course, you can just focus on more anti-air and kill these guys sooner. The Templars, High Templars actually do pretty well against them because they can feed back these motherships and do a fair amount of damage to them. There we go, lots of ground troops, and we've got our own stealth going on. Lots of pressure being applied. This is just such crazy, crazy combat. Jay's saying we need detection. I mean, we've got, I don't know, I've got 6. I don't know what Mr. Protoss is. He's got 2 Nexus. I wonder what the advantage is. What do the Nexus give you? I don't know. But, it'd be nice, yeah. He needs to build some observers, and Jay needs to build observers as well. Oh, wait, he's playing... Yeah, so I don't know where Jay... There's got to be a place where he can build his observers, but I don't know where it is. And the Zerg has got his hive, so he's got his overseers. He doesn't have extra overseers, but we do have some stealth detection coming out every turn. Problem is it just dies so fast, because the stealth detectors don't stop to fight, so they tend to hover, they tend to move forward, and then if they get hit, they run away. But there's so many units at this point that, you know, they get hit and they just get destroyed so damn quickly. So, we've got, like, super huge forces at this point. Now, the game, no matter what, will end at some point, because... at the 80th spawn, or maybe it's the 81st spawn, everyone spawns one last wave of units and then stops. No other waves will be spawned after that. So whichever, you know, last man standing, all you need is 1 unit left alive and you will ultimately win. Oh, it looks like I'm building Scourge as part of the anti-mothership system, and yeah, that worked out really well. The Corruptors work pretty well against large things like motherships, but the problem is they get countered by High Templar, which just feed back the hell out of them because they have all this energy, so that kind of sucks, and I've really gotten away from building them very much. I really like the Scourge as my anti-air. So this is one of the longest games. I don't think I've ever been to one that's gone on this long before this one. So, you know, it's a pretty decent one to show off, just because you get, you know, a feeling in the scope of, wow, is it ever choppy? But most of the time, a lot of times I see it end before wave 40, which does not feel very long at all. It starts to slow down at this point because everyone starts to lag because of the amount of units. But it is exceptional fun. Let's have a look at my base. So it looks like I've actually mixed in some Hydralisks, just because there were so many air units. Just threw in a little bit of ground, and my wave doesn't have a lot of ground. I've got the Ultras, but that's about it. So I figured, oh, that's not a bad idea, but I'm mostly focusing on air. Look at lots of Greater Spires, lots of Corruptor Spires, and then lots of Scourge Nests. I'm just going crazy, crazy, crazy with air, and that is pretty much it. In fact, well, the Hydras might not be a bad idea. I really like the Ultralisks, though. I think the Ultralisks are solid. Arguably, it gives a purpose to the ground forces, but I find they tank pretty well. They set up a front line. They do cleave, so that's pretty strong. I think my Broodlords are going to be in big trouble here because I don't think they've got anything to defend themselves. So, I mean, they are... Once you get enough of them, they can spawn out enough Broodlings to sort of keep a wave busy. Oh, good. Lasts just long enough for reinforcements to come in. And that'll be good. Lots of anti-air, which is going to be really good against these Colossi. I can hear the battle cruisers firing off Yamata cannons. We're rapidly approaching the end of this game, one way or another. But we have been pushed all the way back. Oh, this is still our silo. We haven't lost our silo yet. So yeah, you know, things feel tough, but the fact of the matter is we're still in great shape. If we lose that silo, it's going to hurt a lot. That lost income will be quite painful. And then you got to make a decision. Sometimes you want to boom to save your silo. You don't usually... you don't tend to get quite as much efficiency out of your boom because it only does your half of the map, and so you got to make sure that the units really are concentrated on this half of the map, whereas if they're all the way to your nexus, you're absolutely sure of it. But saving that silo in the late game really does have a lot of value, and it might go down here. Nope, looks like one of us did actually boom, and it's nice here. We timed the boom so that it happened just as this wave of Zerg units came in, so they'd be able to push a little bit further, rather than have some die, or, you know, waste their energy trying to kill things that are just going to get boomed away anyway. But still, they've got a really good push going on, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's 3 versus 2, and if anything, it's almost like this side has gotten the advantage as the game has gone on longer and longer. And now that I think about it, they've actually built triple extractor. This is Jay is Awesome, who didn't build any extractors over here. So he's actually got quite a deficit of money compared to most people. Our partner did build it, and I've still got my 2. Had I known the game was going to last this long, I would have gone for my triple. Oh yeah, at this point, Jay is Awesome actually tabbed out of the game accidentally, and was almost going to be dropped. But he got back in right in time. Again, not that it would have been the end of the world, but it's an exciting game. You don't want to miss out on anything. So yeah, I wonder if I should have gotten all my income. I think things would have gone a little bit easier if Jay is Awesome had gotten all his income. It is a trade-off. I don't know how long the geysers have to be up to really be worth it. At this point, clearly it would have been, but it's possible that at a time, you know, we just felt like, oh, well, maybe we should just keep spending our money on units. I mean, it's 800 mineral to build a geyser, so if you're saving yourself 3 geysers, it's 2,400 minerals, plus a considerable amount of downtime collecting minerals. So in practice, building your geysers costs you, like, probably those last 3, 6,000 or 7,000 minerals, or something like that, I don't know. So they really have to pay off. They live long to pay off. So we got a good push going on now. Good mix of units. We've got some carriers mixed in there with the motherships. So the Protoss forces are obviously quite dominant here. Oh, a bunch of Scourge just rip into the enemy here, taking out lots of Colossi. And it's hard because the things are like a slideshow. So sick. In fact, usually when it gets to this phase, I don't watch the combat. You know, every now and again I peek just to get a sense for the flow, but I sort of have to trust my instincts at that point. I just, you know, view my base or something, because otherwise you just get so much lag. I'm going to try to increase the speed, but I don't think it's going to make a difference either way. Maybe it just won't render every frame, I don't know. Oh man. Such lag. Yeah, it looks like it's skipping a bunch of frames, which is good. So we're going to try to get to the end of this a little bit faster. No, it's not, actually. It's progressing in almost real time, which is kind of shitty. Anyway, maybe I'll just stop it then, because it is being really chunky and not very entertaining. And I will say that ultimately we do win. We've got a good push here, but there's some nukes that go back and forth a couple of times before things get finalized. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little demo of this really interesting custom map. I'm a big fan of it. It is called Desert Strike, if you missed the opening title. And I highly recommend you give it a try. See you next time.